And welcome to my crushing difficulty run-through of Uncharted 2. Crushing difficulty is the traditional hardest difficulty. We won't be doing brutal because it's too much of a roll of the dice. So I wanted one that I could actually try and work my way through it. I've never beaten it on crushing before, so it's going to be a lot of first-time experiences, but that being said, I've played this game a lot more prior to it, so this should be a really fun run-through.
What's going on? That's my blood. That's my blood. It's a lot of my blood.
Right, different from Uncharted 1. In Uncharted 1, I shut up for every single cutscene there was. In this, I will continue talking if the cutscenes are not important, just because there's a lot more story in Uncharted 2, and I don't want to have to keep on stopping and starting the commentary, so we're just going to try and get a move on, and I think I've gone the wrong way. Yep, oh, it's a brilliant start. Well, to be fair, I started recording this on normal difficulty, but I was breezing through the game, and after Bloodborne, it was noticeable how much I was breezing through it. I was up for a challenge, so I decided to do it on Crushing. And not long before I started recording this, I'd already beaten Uncharted 1 on Crushing, which I really enjoyed. So that was another reason why I think playing it on normal felt too easy. But, at this thing, I have done a little bit of practice on Crushing, but not much, because I wanted to make sure I could do it, not just jump into it and see what happens. And I went up to chapter 3 before I stopped, so this opening section, I know exactly what I'm doing, how to handle it on Crushing. It was just, it's just after that it's going to be an interesting ride. Also, I've beaten this game several times before, just never tried it on Crushing. I've never been suicidal enough to try it on Crushing. But as of this recording, it's currently September 2nd, yeah, so it's like right near the end of the summer break, so there's a very good chance that when I start uploading this I'll be well into the next year of college, which I'm looking forward to that. Ooh. But this opening bit it's a nice way of teaching you how everything's going whilst having a bit of a, like, without having to make it super slow. It's just getting you to the feel of it, of an uncontextualized situation, which we'll get the context for later on. But yeah, like, you'll very quickly like catch on as we go on. Uncharted 2 is still my favourite Uncharted. 4 came close to beating it. 4 was a really fun Uncharted game, but I still just, in my personal opinion, think 2 was the strongest one. 4 had the best story, hands down, but in terms of the gameplay experience, I think 2 just did it better. Because 4 try and go for a more realistic feel with the gameplay and make the gameplay like feel just that bit heavier and just that bit slower. Which, yeah, I get that a lot of video games are striving towards realism, but I'm not a big fan of it. I prefer games to feel like games, to feel smooth and responsive over realism. As we just barely make that jump and get off the train. Seriously, Nathan Drake should not be able to survive this. Like, just straight up. He's got a lot of blood everywhere, so he's obviously taking some severe damage, and he's climbing like there's nobody's business. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Buy me a drink, sailor.
Harry Flynn?
Hey! What the hell are you doing here?
I'm looking for you, mate.
Uh-oh. Should I be flattered or worried?
Maybe a bit of both. Come here. I've got a job for us.
Really?
The client is willing to part with a huge sum of cash if we acquire a certain object for him.
All right, I'm listening.
Now, you're not gonna like this.
Oh, no. No, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, you just hear me out for a second.
Flynn, we both know two people who were killed trying to lift something out of this place.
And one who made it out.
Yeah, barely.
I can't do this without you, Drake. You're the only one who's cracked it, and you know better than anyone it's a two-person job.
No. 3, actually.
Right. And speak of the devil, here she comes now.
What?
Chloe Fraser.
Nate. Drake. Nathan. Drake.
Hello, Harry.
Chloe here's one of the best drivers in the business. She'll take good care of us.
I bet.
Right, look. I've got it all figured out. We go in through the sewer.
I'm loving it so far.
That puts us in the courtyard. From there, we scale up the wall, run across the rooftops, and just drop down into the exhibit hall. Bob's your uncle. And what is worth all this trouble, I hear you ask?
I didn't, but go ahead. But that's it. An oil lamp.
Yeah.
It's worthless. I don't get it.
Neither do we. That's why we tracked you down.
Well, it sounds like you're working for a nutcase. Some collector who's got too much time and money on his hands. And by the way, this is not worth any of it.
But there's more. How's your 13th century Latin, mate?
Where'd you get this?
Borrowed it from the files of the nutcase.
In Trebizond, we were set upon by thieves. Father, Maffeo, and I were robbed of our greatest treasures. This was written by Marco Polo.
Yes, that much we were able to work out.
Unfortunately, the rest of it's nonsense.
Hey, hold on. So that it should not fall into the wrong hands, I concealed my great sorrow in the unlikeliest place. The light of the great Khan shelters the fate of the 13.
See what I mean? It's just gibberish.
He's talking about the lost fleet.
Yeah.
I know, someone want to fill me in?
Marco Polo leaves China with 600 passengers and 14 ships loaded down with treasure from Kublai Khan. And he lands in Persia a year and a half later with only 1 ship left and only 18 passengers. Now, he recorded every detail of his journey, but he never told what happened to all those ships and the passengers.
So somewhere out there are 13 ships loaded with the Emperor's treasure waiting to be found.
Yeah, and that is what your client is after. Hey, look at this lamp. It's covered in Mongolian script. It must have been a gift from Kublai Khan.
The light of the great Khan shelters the fate of the 13.
Marco Polo hid something inside this lamp. Something that pinpoints the site of the lost fleet.
So, we're dicking this guy over, right?
Damn straight.
Absolutely. You in then?
What the hell? I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? That could go wrong. Anyway, let's get a move on. Oh yeah, if you're doing 100%, so trying to get the platinum and all that, Uncharted 2 is just that little bit harder than Uncharted 1. Like, in terms of the actual trophies you're doing, a lot of the requirements are the same, just there's 100 treasures instead of 60. Well, technically it's 101 if you count the strange relic. But, yeah, like, the only real difference in the challenge really is, for the platinum, is the more treasures to get. Because the speedrun challenges I found much easier than the speedrun challenges on Uncharted 1. So Uncharted 1, some of the levels, it was very tight. It was like, oh, beat a 8-minute level in 7.5 minutes, good luck. So yeah, but on this one, a lot of the speedrun challenges are not difficult. So if you're trying to platinum this, you're not going to have too bad of a time. Uncharted 3 is the one that gives me trouble. Because Uncharted 3 is one that throws the more ridiculous requirements, like rotating between gunning, fisting, and grenades, and things like that. And, well, like, most people know, I feel Uncharted 3 is the weakest in the series, so I don't really have the energy to go for it on Platinum yet. for the Platinum run, because I've done the Crushing run for Uncharted 3, and I'm still undecided whenever I get to Uncharted 3 whether I'll do it on Crushing. Because as much as I enjoyed Uncharted 3 on Crushing, a lot of Uncharted 3's flaws I felt really came to light when I did it on Crushing. And I don't want Uncharted 3's Crushing run to be nothing but a bitch fest from me. Uncharted 4, I've beaten it on Crushing, never again. Uncharted 4, to me, was the hardest of the 4 Uncharted games to do on Crushing. It's ridiculous on Uncharted 4. And what doesn't help is that the harder the difficulty gets, I swear they get rid of more checkpoints. And sometimes there's this points where you really, really needed a checkpoint at this place, which they give you on normal. Then on Crushing, they just rip it from under you and they take it from you. So you have to do a bunch of fights back to back. That's super fucking tough without a checkpoint. And I did that without using any cheats, because on Uncharted 4, once you beat the game once, it doesn't matter what difficulty you've done it on, you can use cheats. Whilst in 1, 2 and 3, you have to be on that difficulty to be able to use cheats on that difficulty. Ow. I should really talk more about what's happening in Uncharted 2, but like, it's a tutorial section. It's teaching us everything, whilst slowly but surely giving us the context. Because this area we're in is like chapter 14, 15, but we'll get to see this next. So, we're not going to see the other end of this for quite some time. It's just giving us a bit of context and it'll start building us up as another cutscene kicks in.
Hello. Well, so much for foreplay.
You mind telling me what the hell is going on?
You mean with Flynn?
Yeah, you might have warned me.
And missed the look on your face? Anyway, you haven't exactly made yourself easy to find.
Talk about making yourself easy.
Oh, you're not jealous. Let's not forget who walked out on whom. After all, you don't get to be jealous.
Wait a minute, Chloe.
If it makes you feel any better, my relationship with Flynn is strictly professional.
Really?
Mostly professional.
Oh.
When I figured out he was actually on to something, I thought you'd want to be in on the action.
So what's the plan?
Just like we said, we pull the heist, we find the ships, and we make off with the treasure.
With Flynn?
Mm-hmm.
And then?
And then we split the take 3 ways, and you and I just disappear. Together, this time.
I see.
Until then, he can't know about us.
He's gonna be pissed.
He's gonna be fine. Trust me.
So Nate and Chloe do know each other and have had a relationship. Uncharted 2 is based a year, I think, around about a year after Uncharted 1. So Nate's a bit more matured, which you'll notice, like that's one thing I've really enjoyed with the whole series to us, even with 3, is that Nathan's character does mature slowly but surely throughout the series. He's not just an immature, like gung-ho, happy-go-lucky person he was in Uncharted 1 the whole way through. He still has that same smart-mouthed sense of humour, but he just grows up a little bit as it goes on, and I really enjoyed that extra layer because it makes him feel more human. But anyway, like a year's passed or so, and so Elena's suddenly gone out of the picture, and now he's dating Chloe. And well, it's got him far, hasn't it, so far? There's like 3 or 4 treasures in this chapter alone. Like I've got almost all the treasures right now. I'm only missing like 9 or 10, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of treasures. In this one, I don't mind talking over this cutscene because nothing important happens right now. This relic will be important later on, but we don't know what it is yet because we're not supposed to, so I won't go into detail. If Uncharted 4 does something similar to this, where they have an out-of-context situation happen much later on, and then they build up the context to it. But I feel Uncharted 2 handled it better, just for the simple premise that Uncharted 4, when you get back to that point, instead of making you play sections of it again with context, they just show a cutscene of it all kicking off instead. Whilst in Uncharted 2, they cleverly make you play it out instead.
You sure you're up for this?
Feel a lot better if I had a gun. We won't need them. A little insurance, that's all.
Flynn, they're just museum guards. And we have their patrols all mapped out. Relax.
Relax. Relax. Have you ever been in a Turkish prison, mate? If we get caught, they will lock us up and throw away the sodding key. You do realise that, don't you?
Better than you do.
Well, you may fancy that kind of thing, but I don't. Can't afford to make any mistakes.
Yeah, and we won't.
We're here.
This way. So what do we do if they switch to patrols?
Figure it out as we go.
We cannot fumble our way through this.
I don't fumble, I improvise.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yeah, I'm, adaptable.
Adaptable.
You cocky bastard. There. What did I tell you? That passage there is going to take us right under the museum.
You called it all right.
You need to have a little more faith in me, chum.
Okay, this one here is me.
All right, remember, that tower is our only way into the exhibit. But we can't even get close with those floodlights on.
We've gone over this.
Just make sure you cut the power by the time we reach the second courtyard.
The lights will be out. I'll have the van waiting at the rendezvous point. Just make sure you get your asses out of there in time.
Fair enough.
All right, enough chat. Let's do this.
Chloe. See you on the other side.
Looking forward to it.
I know there's a lot of stopping and starting, but now we've got a long stretch of nothing but gameplay until our next main cutscene. So this is more platforming training, giving you some basics of how the teamwork mechanics work, because they've expanded on it. I put in big quotation marks in Uncharted 2, because they've just put more of them in there. Like Uncharted 1 had the occasional you need a buddy to help you out, whilst Uncharted 2 has a bit more. And I know why they do it. It's masking loading screens more than anything else, but it works. They do it in 3 as well, and they do it in 4. But 4 they at least make like puzzles out of it and mix it up. That they just play around with the formula instead of just making it a standard buddy help you climb said ladder, or you help buddy climb said ladder so they can drop it down for you to climb. Like excuse me, like Nate's about to do. You can. To be fair, on repeated run-throughs of the Uncharted series, as much as I enjoy the games, I end up getting a bit impatient because they have a lot of character-driven moments where you're just standing around waiting for something to happen. So if you see me start running in circles, it's just me being impatient. If you're following along, you don't have to run in circles yourself.
Here we go.
To be fair, it's not too hard to get into this area. But the game will pretty much teach you how to work on, because they have, like, once again putting in big quote marks, improved the stealth mechanics of Uncharted 2, as in there is one. In Uncharted 1, just no one could hear your footsteps. So if you'd got there and no one had realised you were there, well, you could just run around, snap necks. In Uncharted 2, Nate will automatically start going into like a stealth movement if you're in an area where the guys don't know you're there, and there's also a lot of areas that are designated stealth areas. A few things other things have been changed from Uncharted 1 to 2. They've got rid of the brutal combo. So if you enjoyed going square, triangle, square to get double ammo, you can't do that anymore. No, I've got a sore throat. Again, what's new? But but in replace of it, if you can get a stealth kill on someone, they will drop something they won't drop before. Like, so if you would have just killed them normally, and they had, let's say they had an assault rifle, a pistol, and a grenade on them. If you killed them normally, they might drop the pistol and the grenade. But if you got the stealth kill, they'd drop the AK as well. It's that sort of thing. You can get more loot out of it. You don't necessarily get more ammo, but you can get more loot out of it through the stealth kills. And this is what they roll with for the rest of the series. So if you preferred the brutal combo, tough luck. Because I preferred the brutal combo. I enjoyed just getting double ammo. It made me want to decide which I wanted to do, whether I wanted to risk going in the line of fire to punch someone to get more ammo for my gun, or to stick it back. But now in this, you don't get that option for the brutal combo. Instead, you have this counter mechanic where it's just mash the crap out of square, and then hit triangle when they go to counter. On crushing, it's altered slightly though, and I need to warn you of this. If you've gone from normal, where you've just made yourself practically immortal for it, in crushing, if you mash the square button, it will pick up the square prompt and won't let you pick up the triangle prompt. So if you mash it, you'll get punched. So you have to pace your square buttons and always try and predict to them. In Uncharted 3, they don't change it for crushing. So in Uncharted 3, you can still no damage every single fisticuff fight you come across with really hardly any effort. And I say that, like, I know a lot. There's the amount of people I've spoken to with Uncharted 3, and they said that the combat mechanic isn't that OP. Oh, you can get hit by it or that. It's like, I don't know if it's just because I've played a lot of beat 'em ups or what, but I've never been hit. Like, I've never been hit outside of them getting the first punch and me trying to aim at someone else. Like the final boss of Uncharted 3, I've never taken damage from ever, and I've done 3 runs of Uncharted 3 at this point. One of them being on crushing. All the heavies that you can just punch the shit out of, I've never died. I've never taken damage to. Like the punching combat in Uncharted 3 is ridiculously overpowered, and Uncharted 2 is at least balanced. That if you just mash buttons, you will get hit. In Uncharted 4, well, good fucking luck. So Uncharted 4, they get rid of the counter button and replace it with a dodge, and the dodge is nowhere near as good as the counter. And besides, Uncharted 4's dodge mechanic, like, it only works in scripted, like, fisticuff fights. Like, if you go into an area and you don't have a gun, no one has guns, and it's only like punching, you can do the dodge. But if you have a gun and you just run up to someone trying getting into a punch up, you can't dodge. So if they swing back at you, you just got to take it to the face or swing first. Anyway, at this point here, it doesn't let you leave the cover until you do the stealth kill. So you have to do that, which was why I stayed there for a second, because oh, thanks Flynn, prick. Yeah, anyway, because it's just how it works. Yeah. Did these guys turn around, or would you just sprint at them? I think we just sprint at them. I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, you just sprint at them. Just punch the shit out of them. Thankfully, none of these guys will counter us yet. I think it's chapter 3 onwards where they'll start doing counter punches, because this is still tutorial-esque. Right, this is like the first proper play around you get with the stealth in Uncharted 2. To be fair, the only Uncharted game where I felt the stealth mechanics worked, like 100% without much fault, was Uncharted 4's stealth mechanic. And even then, the biggest tool they give you in Uncharted 4's stealth mechanic, I turned off, because I'm sick to death of seeing that mechanic in so many other stealth games nowadays. I just turned it off, and I got a very nice experience with it. Because the mechanic they kept around was the marking, you know, the mark and execute thing, just without the execute. Where you can just literally tag people when they go behind walls. The dot will still be above their head so you can see them. And that guy somehow didn't see me, which is a miracle. But yeah, I usually turn that off. Also, I turn off the combat indicator on 4, which is it's the sight box. So let's just be, when you're in their line of sight, instead of them doing a human thing and spotting you instantly, a little bar will come up, and when that bar fills up, that's when they've seen you. I turn that off as well. But then on Uncharted 4, if you turn it off, the way they replace it is if they catch sight of you, they'll play a sound effect, and if they've seen enough of you to know it's you and not engage combat, it'll play a different sound. So it's like if they barely catch you, you'll hear a sound like that registers it, and I just prefer that in Uncharted 4. Just an acknowledging sound that lets you go, okay, someone's sort of seen me, but not quite. And a different sound for when they've seen you enough to open fire. It's a system that works in 4. And besides, if you're not like me and you don't turn it off, if you play it on crushing, it forces it off. But we'll get to that when I get to 4. I probably won't do 4 for quite a while, because 4's a whole different beast of a game compared to 1, 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 had like a sturdy formula that, with the exception of a few little things here and there, they stuck with the gameplay. Whilst Uncharted 4 made the effort to make changes and alterations to the formula, and a very bizarre controller change choice, which is they moved the grenade button from L1 to R1, and you can't put it back on L1 without changing L2 and R2. So it's either you put shoot on L2 and aim with R2 to get the grenade right, or you suffer the grenade being on R1 when R1 used to be the reload. And you can already imagine some of the problems I've had with this. Oh, Master Ninja, sweet, I needed that trophy. But yeah, you can already imagine the problems I had with it. Because they put triangle and reload, which I'm not too fussed about. Triangle and reload's not too bad, but if they put the grapple button, there's a new thing they put in Uncharted 4, on R1, problem solved, no issues. But no, they put it on L1 and put grenades on R1 like a dick. And you can't change it back. Oh. The only thing you can change that they've changed is the shoulder swap button and the zoom. Because in 1, 2 and 3, shoulder swap is pushing in the left stick and zoom is X or R3. But I usually use X because it was only X you could use in Uncharted 1. And then they just put the option for R3 and 2 and 3. But then the mark target button come in, so they put that on L3, put swap shoulders on X and put zoom on R3. So, but it at least gives you the option to mess that around. So I put swap shoulders on L3, mark on R3 and zoom on X. And that I was comfortable with. Because they give you the freedom to mess around with that, but they don't let you swap the grenade and grapple button. It's so fucking stupid with Uncharted 4. Because the only, if you play off the classic control system, which the classic control system was when L1 and R1 were aim and shoot, L2 was grenade, and R2 was reload, you can do that on Uncharted 4. So if you're used to that, you're fine. It's just if you're used to L2 and R2 being shot from the Nathan Drake collection, or any other fucking shooter on the planet, you're screwed. Which is unfortunate, but it's what it is.
Crap. Now what?
It's time to tip the odds back in our favor.
Oh, that's brilliant. Guns? What are you thinking?
Relax, Gandhi. They're tranquilizer guns, totally non-lethal. Your conscience will remain unscathed.
Oh, well, good idea.
Great. Okay, a little bit of advice. These things have lousy range, so we still have to get in close. You okay with that?
Know how to shoot a gun, genius.
All right, let's take these guys out.
I actually, after I beat this run of the game, I am actually gonna try using the tranquilizer gun on crushing just to see what happens, because I think that would be interesting to see if people do respond naturally when you use it out of context. Because there is a gun option you can pick in the menu. So when I reach the other side of this, I'm so trying it. Because in Uncharted 3, when I beat that on crushing, I used the silence pistol a lot on the return run through, and that was interesting to use because it did actually still work. Usually, with a few instances where it didn't for some reason, but that's just because it was a cheated weapon. But anyway, the tranq gun, you have unlimited ammo for it as much as it says 1 bullet. Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 have weird moments where they just give you unlimited ammo and they don't say anything about it.
That'll work.
And I noticed that when I was doing a practice run on normal on Uncharted 2, and especially when I was going through Uncharted 3 on crushing, because when you put it on crushing they give you less ammo for guns anyway, so you're more likely to run out. I ran out, quote unquote, several times on Uncharted 3, and you just reload an empty clip with 0 bullets and suddenly have another full clip, and for no reason whatsoever. Like, it's dependent on the situation. Like when you're on the convoy chapter, or the caravan chapter as it's called in Uncharted 3, you have practically unlimited bullets for that. Like, it will give you more clips for no reason. There we go, as we save Flynn, who obviously won't betray us with his awful evil Britishness. Oh, obviously he won't betray us. I mean, who would do that? Oh.
I'm gonna take the elevator next time.
To be fair, there's a treasure here as well. Like, if you go to the right, there's a little ledge you can jump up onto. That treasure found me a little while to get to find, but thankfully it wasn't too long. It was just a while over there-ish. Anyway, let's get a move on. Oh, I love this line. Just, 'cause it's so fucking simple, yet we've all said what Nate's about to say.
Closer. Appreciate that update, Captain Obvious.
That. Everyone in their lives has said, have called someone Captain Obvious at least once in their life. Also, I need to be careful, because I tapped circle then. I instinctively went to drop. That got me killed several times on Uncharted 3's crashing, where I'd just do a jump, and I'd tap circle, because I like to land rolling. But I wouldn't realise until just as I tap circle that he wasn't going to land on it, he was going to grab the edge. And of course circles drop. So it wouldn't work. But I do a lot of land rolling, just so then if there any bullets come in, I can dodge it on the fly.
Gotcha. Pull me up.
You put on weight, buddy.
You know, that scene becomes much funnier if you put on the Donut Drake cheat.
Shit, that was close.
Yeah, you put on weight, mate. No shit.
Nuts for you.
But to be fair, like, I know it's been a while since I finished with Bloodborne, but to be honest, I just sort of needed the break from it. My voice was tired. Bloodborne kicked my ass. As much as Bloodborne is easily the best game I've played in quite a while, I just needed a break from recording. Like, no offense to you guys. And I'm back in the swing of it, as pun not intended. There's a treasure if you go down there. There's a ledge that doesn't look like you can grab, but you can grab it and climb around it.
There's a guy above you. There's a guy above you.
Get him. And I'm also going to try and make an effort to make parts consistently longer than 20 minutes. Because that was one of the things with Bloodborne. When I set, because every part I recorded of Bloodborne, I set like a goal in my head of this is the part I want to reach before I'd end the recording. In Uncharted 2, I'm just going to record an absolute mammoth ton, see how much I can do, and when PlayStation comes up with the warning that I've recorded quite a bit, that's when I'll try and stop. So hopefully I want to get this chapter done in this recording, so there'll probably be another 5 minutes yet. And I know I've not since language today, Rob. Yeah, not long past half an hour. There we go. Flipping heck, my English is not on point. It's not even because I'm tired. I slept well last night, which is rare. But it's like the last night I'm going to sleep well before college starts. I know it is, but
Can't get any closer with the tower lit up like
yeah,
that. What the hell's she doing?
I just can't do language today. I think it's just because I haven't done recording for a little while that I'm a bit off of it.
That's my girl.
And I don't know if there is a treasure here, but I always feel like there is a treasure here. Like when I've got all of them, like I'll mention it if there is one here, because I know I'm missing a few. I'm missing a handful still. Come on, Flynn. I ain't got all day. You can't skip this. You can't do anything to skip this animation. You've just got to wait. Come on, Flynn. There we go.
Ladies first.
Oh, arsehole.
Cute. Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's the acoustic alarm. Until we get this case unlocked, that thing's gonna go off if we so much as touch this glass.
No worries, mate. Voila.
All right.
Now, we're sure it's the right one.
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. Sorry, Marco. Crap.
Well, that's the understatement of the year. This is it. It's bloody useless.
The light of the Great Khan. Wait a minute.
What are you doing?
It's resin. It'll burn.
And?
Just give me your lighter.
Is that really a good idea in here?
Come on. Whoa. Let me see that. Our ships were driven by a great flood tide into the wilds of Java.
Sounds like they were hit by a tsunami.
Yeah, somewhere off the west coast of Borneo.
Oh, great. That narrows it down a bit.
Look, this mountain must have been the closest landmark where they went aground. We find that mountain. We find the ships.
Yeah, good work, mate.
Wait, there's more. Okay, Joe. As if the ocean itself sought to throw off the terrible cargo we carried from Shambhala. The curse of the Chintamani.
Would that mean something to you?
Shambhala. Oh my God, Flynn.
What?
Marco Polo found Shambhala. Shangri-La.
You're joking.
If they were carrying the Chintamani stone, it might still be there.
It's all very fascinating, but we really gotta go.
Yeah, I'm right behind you. The hell are you doing?
Sorry, mate. This is where we part ways.
Wait, Flynn, we had a plan.
No, you had a plan. Turns out I've got one of my own.
Come on, throw me the rope. Don't be stupid.
Oh, yeah, right. You're the mastermind. Only you overlooked one little detail. Didn't you, partner?
So what are you gonna do, shoot me now?
No, I just need you out of the way for a little while.
Shit.
You think I didn't know about the ships from the beginning? Any schoolboy could have figured that out.
Flynn, listen.
Face it, genius. You've been played. Not yet. I want to give the guards a decent head start. Right, that's my cue. No hard feelings, yeah?
Oh no, Flynn betrayed us. Oh, how was I have ever known? It was obvious. Like, it was, seriously, even when I first went through it, it was really fucking obvious. Also, they will shoot the gun out your hand there. That's the only time in the entire series that something like that will ever happen in gameplay, so don't worry, that's not a mechanic you have to deal with. They can't actually shoot the gun out your hand. That's scripted to happen every single time. It's just so then you can't shoot back. But at this part, all you're trying to do is get to the sewers and then get the fuck out. You're escaping through the sewers, but people will be looking for you, so keep running. Don't stop for no man. And if you see a laser sight, do the same thing you do in Uncharted 1. Roll. Because they won't be able to get a fixed shot on you if you're rolling. There's your ladder, and that's our way out.
See ya, suckers.
Yeah, we made it.
You overlooked one little detail, didn't you, partner? What? Face it, genius, you've been played. Oh, really?
Hey! Jackass, you're ruining the show here.
Ah, what a shame.
Sully!
I really can't leave you alone for a minute.
Oh, man, am I glad to see you.
How you doing, kid?
I'm doing just great.
So, had to grease a few palms. Did go through the rest of your money, and a good chunk of my own, but hey. Jesus, you stink.
Yeah, not half as bad as that cigar. Hey, how'd you find me?
Well, a friend of yours asked for my help.
Hello, Nate.
Oh, no.
Now, wait a second.
Sully, kick her out and shut the door. We're safer in here.
Just wait a goddamn minute. Hear her out.
Thank you, Victor.
Hey, no offense, Sully, but you're not exactly the best judge of character, especially when it comes to women.
Fair enough. All the same.
Dear God.
Oh, no, it's not that bad. Look, I have my own bucket. Last cell I was in, 8 of us had to share.
Listen, Nate.
You know something, I really appreciate you dropping by, but if you and Flynn hadn't screwed me over in the first
Now,
place,
wait
I
a
wouldn't have
minute.
been rotting in this shithole for the last
Listen,
3
Nate.
months. So excuse me if I'm not just, leaping into your arms.
I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I told you. He's not going to listen to me.
Screw this. Nate, they found the ships.
In Borneo.
Yes.
And the Chintamani stone?
How do you know about that?
Do you really think Flynn could have figured that out on his own?
All right, good point. No, they haven't found it yet.
What do you mean, they?
Flynn and his client, Lazarovich.
You know, the nutcase. They've been working together all along.
All right, then. If they haven't found the stone, that means there's still time. You're gonna get us into that dig site. We are gonna snatch that treasure right out from under them.
They'll never see it coming.
Yeah, well, payback's a bitch. Look, they called it the wish-fulfilling jewel. It's a sacred object.
What, like a Buddhist holy grail?
Exactly.
Thanks.
Sully, listen to this. In the kingdom of Shambhala lies the most precious thing to be found in all the world. A perfect raw sapphire of the deepest blue, larger around than the reach of a man's arms.
Ooh, that's gotta be worth millions.
Hundreds of millions. And you say there's more of this?
Loads more. Lazarevich paid top dollar for Marco Polo's journals. He's been after the Chintamani stone for years.
Well, if he's been counting on Flynn to find it for him, it's no wonder he hasn't had any luck.
If I can get a look at Lazarevich's files, I can find that stone.
Hang on a minute, cowboy. That's easier said than done. The files are in his tent, and his tent is in the middle of the camp. It's like an armed compound. There are soldiers everywhere.
Well, that's why it has to be an inside job. From someone they know and trust.
Oh. Okay, I see where this is going.
Just need a diversion. You give me 5 minutes in that tent, that's all it'll take.
Really? 5 minutes? Well, that's great. I won't even have to get my top off.
Chloe, I was thinking more like an explosion.
Or that. Can be arranged.
Are you in?
Oh, hell yes. I was in before you were.
I've rambled on enough for this part, so I think I'm going to call it off here. So, next time on Uncharted, we'll explore Borneo to try and get a hold of Lazarevich's documents to find out what he knows about Marco Polo. But until then, you guys take care now.